right, all right. All right, get those little style stuff going. Kitty, kitty. Hey, man. Nope. No. Don't scratch. Hey, baby. Come here, baby. She knows that if she scratches the couch over there, I have to go to the couch to get her. Then she wins. Really? Yeah. Hey, want to say hi? Yeah? Want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi. Good girl. All right. Let's go back to this one. All right. Let's go over here. Let's get prices up. Markets and things. All right. Well, let's just say it's like the Texas weather. If you don't like the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, give it a day and it will be different. It will change. Yeah. Wow. So anyway, all the ass kicking you took on Sunday when everybody got post-holiday whale dicked, it came right back. That's just the way it works. Some things rocketed back a little bit more than others, but I mean, almost 10% day on Ethereum is pretty good. Look at Sui, little recovery there, 20%. That means they were just getting decimated. You see, I mean, again, the lower you go, the higher the returns are going to be because those are the spammier kind of alt assets. Yeah. So anyway, pretty interesting though, right? Of course, the one I cared about was Jupiter, almost 25 cents. So it's within a breath of where I will flutter on out and grab me some more Bitcoins. And you know what? Bitcoins at 91,000 is great because it was 126,000 7 weeks ago. I will take it. Unfortunately, I couldn't buy Aster yesterday because Jupiter was down so far that I couldn't I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. I decided to wait for recovery, which we got, but yeah. But it's still cheaper than where I sold. I sold some Aster to cover some Bitcoin, whatever. I sold some Aster at $1.16 and change. So I'm going to buy that entire stash back for a 13-cent discount. So yeah, that's cool. And then the rest, let's buy some corn. Add some corn on there. The Bitcorns. That was an old Maxine Waters joke. She was on I think it was a CNBC interview, and she was talking about Bitcoin. People were like, "Dear God, this country's not going to make it." Okay. Let's see. I'm going to show the streams. Okay, I don't know what that this warning takes up. There's a little warning there about stream. Oh, anyway, whatever. Okay. Anyone use Near or Avalanche? I used to own both of them. I now own neither of them. The Avalanche team is pretty scammy. At least they were. I mean, they churn employees and stuff, but they had done some really sketchy stuff using lawyers to attack other crypto projects to make Avalanche look better. Just a scummy team. Cool tech, scummy team. Never really got out of the starting blocks. And I think, yeah, that's the end of it. There's a lot of scummy teams. I mean, the EOS team with Dan Larimer, really scummy team. Dan Larimer is a scumbag. Probably should be in prison. But either way, it's neither here nor there. Near was interesting for a while, and then we all just realized no one cared. No one's going to use it. It's just not that interesting. And then Near tried to rebrand themselves as an AI play, which is bullcrap because they have nothing to do with AI. Never have. I mean, they may have pivoted now, but it's no different than, remember Lipton iced tea blockchain? Same thing, Lipton iced tea AI. Ain't nothing there, man. It's a bunch of swamp gas. So you just slap a AI label on there, and then you're in AI. ICP had some hype to it. Yeah, internet computer. Yeah, I mean, it even sounds stupid when you. I mean, just when these. I can almost tell you when these companies name themselves if they're going to make it. Polkadot. Nope. Because if you're so flippant about the way you name your project and the way you present yourself to the world, you don't care. And Gavin didn't care. And guess what? Polkadot is a complete and utter embarrassment. It was an embarrassment when it came out. And then you thought, no, Gavin will get his stuff together. This is the guy who wrote Solidity. Certainly, Gavin will get his act together. Nope. They lost, I don't know, 80 or 90 million in kind of a hack. You'd have to go back and look. My numbers there's so many numbers that have been thrown around lately, but you can go back and just give it a quick GPT instead of Google. Give it a quick GPT and you'll see that how many tens is over $100 million they lost just getting hit during their launch, like launching the token. They couldn't even get out of the starting blocks launching, and they had been hit one or two times for over 100. I think it's over $100 million that team lost. And you're just like, what a bunch of incompetent dummies. Yeah, Polkadot, dot. So same thing, internet computer. You just knew it just sounds stupid. Internet computer. Shut up. Like, anyway, it's neither here nor there. So yeah, let me see. Okay, let me go through because it does this little question mark thing, and I can pick out any questions. Yeah, we'll just do a little Q&A. I'll have to go like 5 minutes early today because we have calls all week with people about cinema. And these are good calls too. These will be fun ones because these are on the production side. These are producing companies. These are film funds, film festivals, and all that are curious about the software. And these are all investment calls. Those are my favorite. All right. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff coming there. We'll have something that people can play with in about a month. And I think in about a month and a half, where you'll be able to go. If you have an idea, you'll be able to work with our site, with our AI, and you will be able to help you, and the AI will write a script. Then you will be able to get script coverage. Then you'll be able to storyboard that script. Then you'll be able to lay music down on it. Then you'll be able to do sound design if you want. A lot of the stuff will be automated, but if you want to participate, you can be a complete filmmaker or TV maker. That'd be cool. I'm interested because I have 35 pilot screenplays, scripts. I mean, you wouldn't call them pilots now. It is a pilot. They refer to it as a template now, but because streaming has changed everything. But what would be considered like a pilot, like the first episode of a TV show? I have 35 of those bad boys that never saw the light of day. You better believe that once our software is up and running, I'm going to make 35 TV shows. 100%. But it starts with the first one. So I'm kind of narrowing down. I have one I did about Jack the Ripper, which is actually, it's a lot of it, like 90% of that show that I wrote is historically accurate. And it's basically, I know this is a derivative, but John Wilkes Booth had a thing going with a guy. This guy was a self-proclaimed military surgeon. It looks like he was the one who planned the assassination of Lincoln. Like, he was the guy that implemented it, whatever. He kind of coerced Booth into doing the job. He escaped. This all true. He escaped the States, went to England. He was in the UK, so he was in London, and he then kind of rebrands himself as this real forward-thinking medical kind of scientist slash surgeon, and during the time of the Whitechapel murders, which Jack the Ripper, he was showing people collections of body parts that he had through science gotten, and whatever. Anyway, real creepy stuff. And he was one of the Ripper. He was actually one of the Ripper suspects. Is a good chance, like a really good chance, that the dude that orchestrated the murder of Lincoln, the assassination of Lincoln, was also one of the Rippers, because there were many Jack the Rippers. There was that, because all those murders that happened in Whitechapel were attributed over that 3-year time period were attributed to Jack the Ripper, but Jack the Ripper was likely 4 or 5 different Rippers, right? And some of it was just like petty crime, and some of it was like serial killer, and so it was like all kind of mishmash. Remember, this is before, this is before fingerprinting, before DNA. This is in the beginning of the formation of the Metropolitan Police Service, the first citywide organized police force in the world. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. So anyway, that's what the story follows, that character, and then it follows these 2 kids that grew up in England, these 2 brothers of their dad was super abusive. One of them becomes like a street enforcer. The other one becomes one of the very first kind of police in this kind of newly formed Metropolitan Police Force. And they, in their own way, are both going after Jack the Ripper. And then it kind of unfolds. And so the series explores all of the Ripper suspects. And as you go through the episodes, you're like, okay, this one's the real Jack the Ripper. And then you see another one, you're like, oh wait, no, this one's the real Jack the Ripper. And then it's the reality that there were many. So anyway, that's called Leather Apron. And I think that's the first one I'm going to do, because it's really dark and really creepy. So yeah, I got a lot of that stuff. But everybody's got a cool idea in them. So it'll be like, I had one of the investor guys was like, if I invest, do I get to use it? I'm like, well, everybody gets to use it, man. That's the whole point. We're not doing it for 6 people. Unless those 6 people cut us a check for $3 billion. Otherwise, this is a tool. Did you guys ever see Brain Candy? Does anybody here remember the movie Brain Candy? It was like a Kids in the Hall movie, but it was like the movie they did it was kind of dark. It was about this pharmaceutical company creating a brain drug, like to make you happy all the time. And one of the scientists had created a pill to give worms to ex-girlfriends. And then the board of directors is like, how does this make humanity better? How does this make society better? And the guy's like, it's a pill to give worms to ex-girlfriends. And then they're like, well, could it give worms to ex-boyfriends? And the guy's like, you don't understand. So sometimes people just don't understand your genius. But yeah, so it's fun. It's fun stuff. Let's see, is the notion 90%? Yeah. Well, I don't know that that's actually factually possible. The only way a token can go to 0 is if you discontinue commerce of the token and there's no market anywhere at all for the token. So if you do that, then I guess in that scenario, it could go to near 0, but there's still some nominal value. Only when it becomes untradeable is it technically 0. Like at that point, I think we can all agree it's 0. If you can't trade it, 0. You've achieved 0. Do I think 99% of crypto projects are going to get near 0? Absolutely. Think about the statistics of companies that start. How many companies go bankrupt? Well, I'd say historically, 99% probably, right? The ones that are left, but I'd say it's much more likely that a company goes bankrupt than that it doesn't. Does that make sense? It's much more likely to fail than not. Yeah. Let's see. Does a coin's longevity mean anything? For instance, Tron, Litecoin, or other coins said, well, no, I don't think it means anything. trends change, technology changes, people hold on. I mean, you hold on to your, what is the typical thing you do? You hold on to your losers, right? Like you're just like, oh, well, I've lost so much money on it. What's the point? Unless you're tax harvesting and you have some kind of clever initiative, but you're just like, oh, well, I'm out. I lost that one. I have a lot of dumpster coins that are just sitting there. I never did anything with them because I go, well, if some jackwagon creates some marketing campaign or a bunch of, influtards get on TikTok and spin up some crap about some weird coin, it could pop back up. Remember, and this is not a crap coin, but remember when Filecoin like 2 weeks ago? Look, it's $1.54. Do you guys remember? Let's go back 30 days. You remember this? You guys remember that little pop to 356? Anyone? You remember what we were saying? Sell. Sell that mofo, because that's not realistic. That is pumpy, bullcrappy, weird behavior. And so you can always take a bump like this and put your hand in the middle of it and go, okay, well, at some point it's going to give half of that stupidness back. In this case, it gave a lot of it. It gave 95% of the stupid. But my point is, these things will spam up or spam down, sometimes for reasons we don't know, or we don't know until way after the fact. And so you just take advantage of it when it happens. Be like, cool, I'm out. See you later, bye. Yeah. I'm actually looking at Hype again. I really liked it under $30. That was super sweet. But again, my cash that I'm deploying is based on Jupe. And I said to myself, I'm not selling it under 25 cents. So I'm going to wait. And yeah, that's my rule. I think I probably ended up paying 60 cents for all those tokens. But anyway, that's my rule. Good. Astra's coming down a little bit. Okay, go on. Come down a little bit. Let's give up. We went up really fast. Let's calm down a little bit. Let's calmer heads prevail. Yeah. So longevity doesn't really mean much. Tron is a crap project. Litecoin is a crap project. And there's a lot of these older coins. They've been around for a while, but they're just crap projects. Do you see yourself using Litecoin for payments or really for anything ever? Like it almost doesn't make any sense. Charlie Lee did it because he wanted to cash out. He wanted to cash out on the back of a bunch of idiots. Good on him for seeing that people were stupid. He cashed out at the all-time highs, put money in his back pocket, and he's laughed ever since because he's contributed nothing to society. I mean, zero. That guy's a double zero. He's an MI trained double zero. He's an MIT trained zero, but he's a zero. He basically racked the public for many hundreds of millions of dollars that he put in his back pocket under the guise of, well, I had to sell my portion of it because, I just don't want to be affected by the price. I want to be able to contribute on a rate. Bull crap. He just cashed out at the high and then basically lied to everyone about it for a few days until they caught him online. They caught him and they're like, wait, Charlie, this is you. He's like, oh yeah. Well, I mean, I just don't want you guys to think that I have, all this skin in the game so that, I wouldn't be just making moves to affect the price. Like, but you just did, stupid. You just sold all your tokens as the founder. He's such a dick. These guys, and of course they craft this little narrative. Oh, I'm doing it for you guys. Just like Brad and Chris over at Ripple. I'm sure they were just selling XRP for us. They're just trying to give us more tokens. That's all. I mean, they weren't selling it to us. They were selling it to their buddies at a steep discount who then sold onto the market with no lockups. But really, it's just like Brad and Chris just trying to do us a solid. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Chris. Did you give us the money? Oh, no. You kept that. Did you give it to Ripple, the company? No? Oh, so you kept that too. Oh, that's weird. So you were selling your personal tokens at a discount to institutional investors with no lockups who then immediately sold onto the market. And you're cool with that as a CEO. Both of those dudes should have been in jail, man. And then CZ goes to prison for what? Not having proper KYC on the website. Get out of town. Dude, these guys are just, they're so dirty. But you know what they are? They're just regular dudes. This is the thing. You realize that these guys aren't these kinds of guys that pull these little shenanigans, the Do Kwons, the Nova Grats, the Alex. I have hundreds of millions of my own monies, Mashinsky, all these douchebags, Kyle Davies, Zhu Shu, Three Arrows Capital scumbags. All these scumbags they're just scumbags. Dan Larimer, scumbag. And then you have the middle crew. You have the guys that are kind of smart. They're injured by their intelligence because they think they're smart at everything, and so they make huge mistakes. Charles Hoskinson, oddly enough, these are all the guys that got booted out of Ethereum by Vitalik, but Charles Hoskinson, Gavin Wood, and things like that. And they do things where it sounds reasonable what they're doing, and then when you dig in, you're like, nah, I don't know, man. I think that's kind of stupid. I don't think you should do that. That actually sounds really stupid. And the more I think about it, it sounds completely stupid, really just dumb. And so they make these dumb decisions that end up kind of perversely or adversely affecting the community. So, I mean, Cardano's been around for a while. Do you think the world's going to use Cardano for anything? What about all the deals they were talking about in Africa? Where are all these deals at? 5 years ago, they were talking, oh my God, Africa's going to be using digital IDs, Cardano. Well, go on then. Where is it? It's been 5 years, bro. I don't see it. I don't see anything. That's the problem. I don't see anything. Polkadot, nothing. Cardano, nothing. Tron, nothing. Litecoin, nothing. So that's the reality. It turns out crypto was a better mousetrap, but you probably only need like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you can accomplish everything else. Right? Everything. I can't think of one token that has such a novel purpose that Bitcoin as a store of value, if you believe it's a store of value, which I don't think it's a pure store of value, but that seems to be the typical argument. And Ethereum as the kind of world compute layer OS for the world, which I do see an argument because that's what's happening. Beyond that, is there any novel purpose you can think of for other crypto assets other than Bitcoin and Ethereum? Any purpose where you go, oh, this is the only token that could have achieved this? No. Oddly, I think there is, I think if Hypercycle pivoted a little bit and took Toda IP and used it to spin up a permissionless blockchain, like HYPC that functions in the nodes, that's a permissionless token exchange. It's a little data transfer, very fast, like a little containerized data transfer. But if you had a consistent ledgerless blockchain that was really, really fast, and you didn't pump it out there as use it for money, you pump it out there as use it to move data. Just use it to move data. That's it. That would be a competitive blockchain. I think that would gain some backing. I told those guys about this like years ago, and they were just like, "Oh, we don't want to fight that fight." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's a fight where you make $1 billion overnight." So I don't know. Seems like a fight worth fighting. Of all the fights one might fight, that's a fight that I would fight. But you have to do something novel. I don't see anything novel out there. For those of you that are curious on the Hypercycle, inside the nodes, see Hypercycle, basically the representation of the Hypercycle token inside the nodes, that digital asset moves really flipping fast. That is the ledgerless blockchain that could be built upon to launch. You could launch a token against that, a data kind of token. I think that would be wildly successful. Will they do it? Probably not. Why? Because they don't listen to anything I have to say, because what do Brandon and I know? We don't know anything about anything. Uh, it's the theme. It's the constant theme. And then later on, hey, listen, man, you were right. Oh, yeah? Were we? It's too late for Schadenfreude, bitch. There's no money left. All these crap companies, Gamer Token, all this with these great ideas and Web 2 mindset. Great ideas, Web 2 brains. Twin token. Cool. Oh, our clients don't want to pay in twin tokens. They just want to pay in fiat. Oh, okay, cool. So F the token holders that you raise money from, you're just going to put money in your corporate bank account just because the companies that you talk to, they don't want to do a transfer. You know what? They don't want to do a transfer. They don't get a fucking twin. How about that? How about use stablecoin, use the twin token, or go fuck yourself? No. We just we'll bend the knee. It's cool. Okay. All right. Well, your company just failed. Why? Because you have a Web 2 brain in a Web 3 world, dummy. Let's go down the list. The only people that are doing this right, I know it sounds weird because Libra hasn't launched their token yet, but Libra, their company is making money because they realize, listen, right now, we're at a place where part of the company is very functional. This other part is not yet, it's not yet clear that people are going to onboard. So we're going to slowly train them to onboard, but we're going to make money over here because that's what a company does, because the company's job, once you take the first fucking dollar of investor money, your only job is to service the investor. That's it. People lose sight of this. What's your job? We make software. No, you don't. You make money for your investors is what you do. And the way you do that is you make software. Okay, cool. Yeah, get that shit right. These founders and stuff, dude, it's all like, oh, it's all about them. It's all, buddy, no. That's why all these companies, WeWork and all this shit, they always fail. Because the dudes make it about them. It ain't about you, bro. You take that first dollar of public money, it's about them. It's about the dudes that gave you money. That's your fucking job. Your job is no longer to fucking dance around town, go to stupid ass fucking parties with your damn Bentley and shit, looking like a jackass. And no, that shit's over with. You take that first dollar, your job is in service of the investor. And every time you spend money, you say, I'm spending that guy's money. Every time you hire somebody, I'm spending that guy's money to hire this dude. Can I answer for that? If someone asks me, hey, why'd you hire this dude? Can I defend it? If I can't defend it, you're not hired, bro. Can't help you because I can't defend having done it. Every dollar you spend, people forget that shit. It's the way it works. And I think in the crypto space, a lot of Web 2 douchebags, well-intentioned, but douchebags, came into crypto and they thought, ooh, here's an easy place to get money. I'm just get this money. So they come in, they raise money, and then when the very flimsy reason they raise money in the first place, the crypto connection, doesn't pan out because it never did anyway, because turns out you only need Bitcoin and Ethereum, period. So, I mean, we had the battle. Anyway, so these guys come in, they get their little money, things don't work out, and after 3 months, they're like, okay, forget the crypto part. What do you mean forget the crypto part, bitch? That's how you raised money. That's the platform for which you raised money. If there is no crypto part, you would be zero. You'd still be working for fucking Safeway or Ralph's or wherever the fuck you came from. Like the douchebags that work at the absolute fucking brain farm from Twin. I mean, what a bunch of jackasses. And by the way, I've absolutely told them right to their face that they're a bunch of fucking jackasses. That's why they don't contact me anymore. It's like no one calls anybody out. I call these dudes out. I don't give a shit. I made my own money and I understand math and I'll always make my own money. This is the thing. Like, the mentality of success is that you don't need other people. You can do it on your own. I'll go get a job. Someone offered me a job. Oh, hey, you want to come? No, fuck you. I'm not going to work for somebody else. And if I do, you're going to pay me so much that I forget that I know what I already know. You know what that number is? It's a lot. To be an employee, if you want to employ, like me, just me personally, I don't know about you guys, but for those of you that are not, this is a good one. This is a good one. For those of you that are not, that do work for yourself, what would someone have to pay you to go work for somebody else? A real number, like a real number. What would someone have to cut you? What check would they have to cut you to go work for somebody else? I know what my number is. I want to see what some of your numbers are. And for those of you that are working for somebody else, what would be the inverse of that? Okay, the inverse of that would be, or the ancillary, if you're currently working for somebody else, what's an amount of money to where you would be comfortable and you would never look to exit? The amount where you would never exit. So what's your I'll work for someone else number and I'll be fine. I'll work for someone else and I'll be fine with that idea. What's your number? Altcoin ETFs, it's part of the digital asset treasury thing. These companies think if they can if they can get an altcoin ETF, people will spam in. They'll buy the ETF to get exposure to the space, and that will create some use of the token. Well, I mean, it'll just create purchasing of the token. Is there any value to it? No. These spam ETFs won't do very well. They'll take a couple bucks in. They mostly won't do anything. But that's the idea, is that you would get someone to come in and buy up tokens that otherwise people don't want. So let's make an ETF for everything. And the ETF issuers like it because they're getting fees across the board. So even if they're not wildly successful, they don't really care. If they can do it, they're going to do it. And listen, if a little firm makes a couple $1 million, $3 million, $5 million, good. That might have made their year, right? Even if overall it's just not a very successful program. Let's see. Didn't all the data coins go up that day? Yeah, they did. No, you're right, Arden. The data coins did go up that day, and then they summarily all sold right back off. So it was bullcrap. It was just a spammy, bullcrappy scenario. There was nothing real to it. Let's see. Do you know if Hypercycle has a team of salespeople out selling Hypercycle? Well, they're not selling HYPC, the token. Remember, the token was just an early representation. Hypercycle is not a crypto play. They use crypto under the surface. But not, so they use a ledgerless blockchain system inside the nodes to communicate with each other through kind of a containerized, like a little swap system, data for payment for data back and forth. Which is very efficient. But the Hypercycle, the Ethereum representation of the Hypercycle token was just a placeholder token, so that in the beginning you could get token holders, they could get their nodes and push them together and do all that kind of stuff. Let's see, newer, so level 10 to switch. What's your thoughts on the project currently? I have a lot of Hypercycle nodes. I have a lot. I currently have 16 master nodes. What are they doing? Nothing. So what are my thoughts? I wish they would get to the point where they do something. So I am hopeful. They have a lot of good IP. There's no way to know what any company's ever going to do. There's just no way to know. That's why you got to invest within your ability to sustain a loss if it doesn't work that way. I think Hypercycle got out of the gate really well. I think their problem is a communication problem. It's hard for them right now. They're working on it, but it's hard for them to communicate what a node does and where you would put it. Like, I've had the developers talking directly with one of the co-founders every week for the past couple weeks. And my guys trying to figure out where we would put nodes in our tech stack at Cinema, because it's very compute heavy. Like, unimaginably compute heavy is where we're at. Like, you don't want to know how expensive it is to do the compute that we do. So streamlining that, creating efficiencies. And that's where I thought, hey, listen, the hypercycle node is probably going to be great for this. Well, it's still confusing to everyone involved, everyone, where exactly a hypercycle node would go, or many of them in our tech stack, and what it would accomplish. And I believe the reason is because there's not hundreds of thousands of nodes out there, all geographically sparse, like doing all sorts of cool transactional stuff. I think there's some number, there's some minimally viable number of node dissemination or dispersion that kind of stands the network up. And I don't know what that number is, and I don't know that they know what that number is. And I think that it's that you got to get those nodes out there in the wild, and for a while they're going to be very marginally functional, not very functional. So part of the way they're getting them out there is they're doing these deals with these big governments to get them to spread lots and lots of nodes out and convince people to start using them, and that would create that network. And then once that network is there, you get those network effects. Now you have a bunch of nodes stood up, and they're all communicating, and now you get the benefits of those nodes. We're not there. So if we don't get there, then I don't know that the hypercycle, I mean, we will get there, but I don't think I think they thought they would be there really quick, and it's just nothing is quick. So that's a case where they built the software pretty quickly. They had everything kind of technically correct, and it's just spreading the word. And I don't think there's one person in 100 that can effectively explain still what is a hypercycle node, where you would put it in your stack, and what it actually does. We kind of know, in a sloppy way, but no one really knows. Like, and don't ask Toofy, because you're going to get some, very intense answer that takes another group of rocket scientists to distill. Like, Toofy's great, but what he's not is concise in speech. So if you ask him a yes or no question, you better get back and get ready for a 17-minute answer. And you're going to have more. And when it's over, you not only were your question not really been answered, but you don't even know what the question was anymore. And you start questioning your role in society, and you start wanting to call up relatives and apologize for things you never did. Like, you have to be concise and precise with your messaging. You have to, what does it do? It does this. When someone asks me like what our company does, it's easy. We take anything from idea to finished film and help you with the entire production pipeline, any step along the way or all of them, whether you know everything or nothing. And we can save you 90% on your production costs before you start shooting live action. If you want, you don't even need to shoot live action. And we can probably make you 15 times faster. Meaning a producer could do 15 times the work, meaning he gets 15 times the paycheck. Oh, and by the way, his paycheck is going to be about 10 times bigger because he didn't blow a bunch of money in production. So you go 15 times faster, make 100 times more money. That's a pretty decent proposition. How? Because we have software that replaces every step of the production pipeline in the entertainment industry. Cool. No one on earth, even your grandmother, understands that. Everybody understands that. What's a hypercycle node, and how does it? It makes your AI smarter. What AI? Well, if you're using AI, well, I use ChatGPT. Will it make that smarter? Well, no. I mean, using ChatGPT or using Claude, that's different. Okay, cool. So how does it help my company? Well, if your company somewhere in its tech stack uses AI, a node will make your AI smarter, and therefore you can get more accomplished, and therefore you could charge more, or you could do more work, and therefore that would indirectly eventually translate to increased revenue, which may generate increased profit, or it would lower your costs, which is in another sense increasing your bottom line. How does it do it? Well, the nodes are very smart. How? And then you start to dither. And then 20 hours later, no one knows what the fuck you just said. That's the problem. It's just very hard. Where would I, even if you get the developers on the phone, cool. What is it exactly? It's a software thing, right? It's a piece of software. Yes. Where does it go? On the tech stack. Okay. Where does it go? How do I plug the motherfucker in? 20 hours later, you don't know what the fuck just happened. You're like, well, I don't understand what we just did. What did we do? What did we do? I don't know. No one knows. That's the problem. It's just so hard to explain. So it's like, yes, the technology is awesome, but you know what? There's a lot of companies that do really cool stuff that no one can explain. Like Cisco Systems. Cisco, everybody's heard of Cisco Systems. I don't think hardly any of you, without giving it a GPT, I don't think hardly any of you could just tell me this is what Cisco Systems does and this is how it does it. You might say, oh, okay, interior internet infrastructure in companies and firewall gated kind of cross-layer communication networks and all that, which is just a bunch of spammy mumbo jumbo. It doesn't mean shit. It doesn't really tell you how it works. But Cisco Systems is huge. So because Hypercycle can't explain what they do to regular people doesn't mean they won't succeed. It definitely slows it down. So that's what I think you should keep in mind. So you can have great ideas that are just very hard to explain. Only one person answered. Bob answered 500K. Wait. Bob, you're saying, let's do some math. For 500K a year, factor in inflationary effects and debasement. For 500,000 a year, you would work for the rest of your life for this company and never look to the left, never look to the right. You'd be completely content. I declare shenanigans, Bob. I declare shenanigans. My number, my walk away right now number, $2 million a month. A month. 24 million a year, motherfuckers. That's what, I'm not you guys. I'm not motherfuckering you guys. I'm motherfuckering the universe. Because I can do that I can do almost that on my own with no boss. So if you want me to just fall in line, it's 24 million bucks a year. Period, full stop. That's it. And I don't know, by tomorrow that number probably going to go up. That's my number. Actually, this second, I would not take that. I probably would have taken that October 13th when we started really getting our dicks punched after the damn just circus of chaos. October 6th, October 9th, the Trump stuff, the China stuff, the fucking primary, first brands and tricolor lending and all this factoring bullshit and all that, and just, and then between 19 and 200 billion in liquidations in 3 days. And like that, those days, I would have definitely taken the 24 mil and been like, whoo, my name's Bennett, I ain't in it. But now, nah, brah, I probably have to jack that number up. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I hope we covered that yesterday, but if not, let's see. Is Cinema AI developing AI agents that will run on Hypercycle nodes? No. Let me clarify. We are utilizing current existing models. We are training models underneath to do things that are not yet currently being done. Like we think we're solving a problem that exists. You guys know that language models work differently than vision models, right? Like the image generators function off of a different set of data than a large language model. Large language model, big pile of words and phrases and sentences and a lookup engine on top. And you say, the big red fire, and then it says truck because it's a next word predictor. It's just a really good one, right? But it's not thinking. It's just a next word predictor, a guess machine, and it's a good guess machine. That's not the way image generation works. Image generation is not done with a guess machine. It's done with a variety of things. Some of it is last frame pixel mapping and all this kind of stuff. And that system doesn't do well because over time in a video scenario where you have 24 frames or 60 frames a second or whatever, you get this kind of morphine kind of image creep that doesn't work over an hour and a half film, right? You can't have the guy's mole start here, and by the end of it, it's here, and he's got a finger sticking out of his forehead. So that's a huge problem that hasn't been, that Sora, that OpenAI hasn't that they haven't figured out. And you think, how do these big companies not have this yet? And it's just like, that's how innovation works, right? Like somebody in some lab somewhere figures it out, they write a paper, and then everybody has that capability. So at Cinema, we may have a way around that one, but regardless. So we are training models to do various things. I'll give you an example. One of our guys is a music guy, and he's a very well-known music guy. DJs all around the world know him because he creates stems that DJs then use to make their music. And you're like, oh my God, I love Avicii. And you're like, yeah, guess what? This guy wrote that. You're like, oh, I love the Stranger Things. Like, yeah, this guy wrote that. So we have that guy, right? And that guy is creating a bunch of really high-end boilerplate cinematic music that you can just go click, paste, done. I have my music for my show. But we're also training we're training a model on his brain and his creative process so that the model will be able to spit out music the way, or at least proximally, in the way his brain does. So we're taking his brain and creating a model around it. We're doing that for sound design. We're doing that for a lot of things. So we're doing all three. We're leveraging current and existing models so that everything we have, the outputs are at least as good as whatever is the best out there. We're training models under the surface. Then we're training a bunch of, it gets very in the weeds, but essentially there's a whole support staff that's all AI, and the AI support staff does deep research and things like this. And they develop very robust backstories for our generated characters and things like that, so that instead of a prompt, like you might prompt, hey, a 6 foot tall mechanic that's bald with like grease on his face, and that's your character, right? Our character references are an autobiography, right? A 290-page deep treatise. This is the prompt on this character. And it references that character, that huge prompt, that deep prompt over and over and over, so that the source material is so exact that it's very hard to get it wrong. And then you can have agents go and fact check and double check the outputs and go, no, that's not good, come back. And that's all happens behind the scenes. So this is a plumbing and architectural feat. So that's kind of the way to look at it. Now, let's see. Hypercycles is promoting how to build a voice AI agent and monetize it. They have a learning module. That's cool. That's awesome. Do it. Have some fun with it. Make a voice agent. Monetize it. With the amount of time that's taking Hypercycle, do you think another company may come and be a better, more efficient Hypercycle? No, not unless they somehow bought the rights to TOTA IP. It's the underlying internet protocol that they have that's super, super valuable. I think that's where the value of Hypercycle is. It's in TOTA, and how TOTA has been woven into this whole system. So the answer is no. Are there other companies that could claim to do what Hypercycle does? Of course. Will some of them be more successful? Probably, because they'll get to market sooner, and they'll make an argument that people understand. And Hypercycle hasn't done that. So it's again back to communication. Anyway, okay, let's call it a day. Anyway, there's always lots to talk about. And hey, listen, we got a green day, right? Isn't it nice to have a green day after getting dick punched for so long? It's nice, green day. Of course, is this right back where it was Sunday night? Yes. Yes. I mean, we're where we were Sunday night. Great. I guess. Success. So, crypto is like Texas weather, right? Give it a few hours and it'll change. So don't get depressed. Don't feel bad. Just stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything about poor and solvent drunk, struggling on meth grandmother, or Brandon wouldn't do. No idea what the weather is there, but here it's going to be 60. 68 or 69. We're up in the hills, so give it 2 or 3. Yeah, we'll be 70. We'll be 70 degrees today. We'll be 70.